in the rant hole where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You could get a rant by becoming one of those people. Today's rant is at the behest of Kusojin, who says that he has got a friend who will not release their music onto the internet, even though Kusojin thinks that this music is really good, and wants to know how to convince your friends to release shit online. Let me tell you, it's not easy, and you have to appreciate that not everybody necessarily wants to become a famous musician, even if they like creating music. Not everybody wants attention in that way. And I guess it really just comes down to, what does this person want? If this person is saying that they want to have an artistic career, and you think their music is good enough that they could, then yes, by all means, you know, you should be telling them to not be such a fucking coward and just post the shit online. But if they are not releasing it because it's less important to them that people hear it than just that they create it. You know, like, I've known people who just create music for fun, for their friends, or just, you know, for themselves, that it's just a way for them to express something, but they don't necessarily need other people's validation in order to get something out of what they've released. I think that's very understandable, and I understand how frustrating that can be to look at from the outside. Back when I was in high school, I desperately wanted to be famous for something, preferably in the arts. I wanted to be a director, I wanted to be a musician, I wanted to be a writer, and, like, I had friends who were fairly talented in some of these things. So, like, I had a friend who was a really amazing shredding metal guitarist, but he was, like, he, you know, saw himself as, even though he practiced all the time and he loved playing guitar, he didn't really think of himself as somebody who could write songs. He just never had ideas for songs. It wasn't something he really liked doing. He thought he might become a session guitarist, but in the end, he just got a regular job, got into cars, stopped playing guitar, and basically hung up his hat. And for me, it was very confusing because I always wanted him to do a band with me. I'm like, I don't understand how you can be such a great guitarist and not want to perform in this way. But his personality, he was very shy. He didn't really seem like somebody who would want a spotlight on him. You know, and I wasn't writing songs for him to perform or anything. So, like, if the guy doesn't have ideas for songs, he doesn't have ideas, no matter how good of a player he is. I had another friend who was a great shoegaze guitarist, and we had people in our group who could perform. We had a band briefly, but, like, everybody's intentions were just kind of different. Not everybody was really that sincerely passionate about, you know, again, creating music. It was more that playing guitar was something he just liked doing as a fun activity to do by himself, not really for anyone. And eventually he got into fighting games. And, like, so, you know, I see these people who, they never really had it in their head that, like, this was something they were doing for some greater purpose, for some, you know, for making it somewhere. And so, you know, another example I could bring up is my younger brother Shade, who started making beats, and that was kind of what launched my rap career, because I started, not that I really have much of a rap career, but, you know, why I started putting out rap songs all the time is because after a long time of wanting to be a musician, my younger brother started making beats. I really liked his beats. I started rapping over them, and I was giving him all of the proceeds from the albums that we would make because I wanted to encourage him to do more. I wanted him to see, hey, you can make money doing this. You can, you know, we could make this a career. But he wasn't really interested in taking the time to have that build, you know, over however long it would take before it would, you know, potentially take off, or to continue improving until he got to a level where it would be acceptable for an audience. He was just doing it for fun. He literally just had listened to a lot of rap music and watched Frank Javc tutorials on how to make beats, decided to do that for a little while. Eventually he got a regular job and a fiance, and he likes working, and he likes being with her and spending time with her. Making beats, like, as much as he enjoys doing it, he just doesn't really have time, and isn't really willing to make time because he doesn't have a picture of himself as a famous musician in his head. So, like, you know, eventually I just had to take it upon myself to either find other producers or start making my own beats, which is what I've been doing lately. But, like, you know, again, it comes down to, what are you looking for in this? If this person is just doing it for fun, or they're just doing it to show their friends, or They don't really, have any ambitions of making money or getting attention. They have no reason to release their shit online. There is literally no reason for them to do it, because the only reason to release things to an audience is either for attention or for money. Those are the only reasons. And if it weren't for those, I would not do it myself. The only reason I release stuff is that when I make something, I don't feel the validation of having created it on my own. I need people to tell me that they consumed it. I need someone to say, I watched this and connected with it, or I enjoyed it, like it did something for me. That is where I feel as though I did not waste my time by creating this thing, because I just don't have, I guess, the self-assuredness to just feel good about things I've made. More so I do with music, and I have made some things that I haven't released, but like, when I release stuff like videos on YouTube, like, this is so I can have a career out of it. There would be no, like, I make videos that I think will get attention. If I didn't care about that, my channel would be very different. I mean, there would not be constant anime videos, or, on the After Dark channel there wouldn't be like all this finish or fail or all these other things, constant flood of podcasts. I definitely wouldn't be doing these rant holes for no reason. Like, it's for profit. So if I didn't care about profit, my content style, what I put out there, would be purely because I wanted to share it with people, and therefore it would just be whatever the fuck came out of my brain, and I would just hope that more people enjoyed it. But, there are some people who want to reach fame even without profit. They just want to have a lot of people pay attention to them. Personally, I'd like to have as few people pay attention to me while making as much money as possible. For me, it's mostly about, like, I want to have a career doing this, not so much about wanting to have a lot of eyes on me, because that just leads to drama and bullshit that I don't like to deal with, So, like, if anything, I like to try to cast a wide net and then make weird shit and scare as many people away as possible, so that I can keep, like, a sort of core fan base that's just enough for me to live the lifestyle I want to live off of the amount of money that I make off of it. But again, if this person's not concerned about money or attention, there is no reason to release their shit online. So ask yourself, do you want them to do it for their sake, or just because you're jealous? That's the important question.